In the midst of bullets, bombs, and bloodshed, a young soldier fell to his knees, not to fire a weapon, but to pray a prayer he had nearly forgotten. In one hand, he clutched his rifle. In the other, a rosary. He wasn't the most religious man. He hadn't prayed in months, maybe years. But in the chaos of war, he remembered something his mother used to say. If you're ever in danger and you don't know what to do, pray the rosary. Mary will protect you. This is the story of a soldier who whispered a desperate prayer in the heat of battle, and how that one prayer became his shield, his salvation, and the beginning of a spiritual rebirth. This is a soldier's last prayer, how the rosary saved his life. His name was James Callahan, a small-town boy from Ohio with a quiet smile and a heart full of adventure. He grew up in a Catholic home. His mom led family rosaries every night. His grandmother never let him leave the house without blessing him with holy water. But like many teenagers, James drifted. By the time he was 20, he had stopped going to Massachusetts. He stopped praying. God became a memory. The rosary, a necklace tucked away in a drawer. Then came the draft. Then came the war. James was deployed to Vietnam in 1969. The jungle was humid. The air thick with tension. Every step could trigger a landmine. Every shadow could hide the enemy. The first weeks were intense. He watched friends fall. He wrote letters he never knew if he'd send. His hands grew used to holding a gun, but his heart felt heavier each day. One night, while rummaging through his bag, he found something he didn't remember packing. His rosary. The beads were worn, the crucifix scratched, but somehow it had made its way across the ocean with him. He stared at it for a long time, then stuffed it back in. On March 25th, the Feast of the Annunciation, though James didn't know it, his unit was sent on a mission deep into enemy territory. They were ambushed. Gunfire erupted from every side. Smoke filled the trees. Chaos unfolded. James was separated from his unit, crawling through brush, bleeding from a shrapnel wound in his side. The sun was setting, and he knew the enemy was closing in. For the first time in years, he prayed, "God, if you're real, help me. Mary, please. I don't know what else to say." His fingers found the rosary in his pocket. He clutched it tightly, and he began to pray. He didn't know if he was saying it right. "Hail Mary, full of grace." His voice was shaking. Gunshots popped in the distance. "The Lord is with thee." Leaves rustled behind him. He froze. "Blessed art thou among women." A shadow moved past him. Enemy soldiers. They didn't see him. "And blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus." He kept praying, faster now, with each breath. Every word became a shield. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't pious. But it was real, desperate, deep. And in that moment, James felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. The night fell completely. He lay still, holding his rosary, soaked in sweat and fear. But no one found him. At dawn, he was discovered, not by the enemy, but by his own unit, who had thought him dead. The medics said his wound should have bled more. The area where he was found had been surrounded, yet untouched. When James was lifted onto the stretcher, one of the soldiers pointed to the rosary still wrapped in his hand. "That thing must have worked, man. You're lucky." James didn't answer. He just stared at the crucifix. and for the first time in a long time, he believed. James returned home months later with a scar on his side and a story few believed. But he knew the truth. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was intercession. He went to confession for the first time in 10 years. He returned to Massachusetts, started praying the Rosary daily. Eventually, he married, had kids, and even began leading family rosaries, just like his mother had. He kept that old, worn rosary, never polished it, never replaced it. It remained scratched, blood-stained, and holy. Because for him, it wasn't just a string of beads. It was a lifeline. James' story isn't just emotional, it's theologically profound. The Church has long taught that the Rosary is a weapon, not of destruction, but of protection, intercession, and conversion. The Rosary is the weapon for these times. Saint Padre Pio. Each Hail Mary is a petition for Mary's intercession, and Mary, the Mother of God, always brings our needs before her Son. When James clung to that rosary, he wasn't just holding beads. He was grasping onto hope, faith, and the powerful prayers of Our Lady, who watches over her children in every battlefield of life. James' story is real, but it's not unique. From World War I to Iraq, from prisoners of war to missionaries in danger, countless Catholics have testified to miraculous protection when praying the Rosary. Soldiers who survived bombings while holding their rosaries. Families spared during natural disasters after Rosary novenas. Addicts, criminals, and atheists converted through Marian intercession. It's not magic. It's grace, activated through faith. And Mary, our spiritual mother, is always ready to respond. So, what does James' story mean for you? You may not be in a jungle. You may not be dodging bullets, but you might be battling anxiety, fearing for a loved one, facing a health crisis, dealing with temptation, struggling with faith. Whatever your war is, the Rosary can be your weapon. It doesn't take perfect words. It doesn't require deep theology. Just a willing heart and a few moments of your time. If a soldier in a foxhole can pray it, so can you. You don't need to know all the mysteries or have a perfect rosary. Just start. Begin with 1 decade. I'll whisper it before bed. I'll listen to it in your car. Hold it during a hard moment. The rosary is simple, but its power is extraordinary. And Mary? She's not waiting for perfect people. She's a mother, and she's waiting for you. Before he died in 2017, James shared his story at parishes and veterans groups. His last public words were simple. I was saved twice, once from war and once from sin. And both times, the rosary was in my hand. His children now carry rosaries of their own. His grandchildren wear scapulars. His old, worn beads hang next to his burial flag. A soldier's last prayer became a family's first tradition. The world is noisy, distracted, hostile, but there's still a place you can turn, where bullets stop, fear fades, and grace flows. That place is prayer. And one of the most powerful prayers the Church gives us is the Rosary. Not because it's complicated, but because it's humble, persistent, and filled with love. Mary doesn't promise a life free from danger, but she does promise to walk with us, to intercede, to protect our souls, and sometimes our bodies too. James' story is a testimony of God's mercy and Mary's motherly care. So, wherever you are today, whether in the middle of war or just worn out by life, grab your rosary. Say the words. Let your prayer rise like a whisper into heaven. And know that you're not alone. Have you ever experienced the power of the rosary in your life or your family? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And if James' story moved your heart or reminded you to pray again, like this video. Subscribe for more powerful Catholic stories and teachings. Share this video with someone who needs hope today. The rosary isn't just a tradition, it's a lifeline. A soldier proved it. Now it's your turn to pick it up.